So if you clicked on this video, this is going to be a video about what I think most nurses should have starting as a new nurse or starting nursing school. So like you're not sure what you need, and this might just help prepare you for the long run. So with my school, we have a mentor-mentee program, and when I was a senior in nursing school, I was just like, I can't handle mentee. It's just too much work with school and that, and working at the same time. It's just like a lot of work. So, but if I did have a mentee, I would probably tell them to buy yourself a planner. You're gonna need something to jot down the dates of your exams, jot down your dates of your clinicals, your simulation days, and like if you work, like you can kind of tell like what days you can have a break on, just time to relax, or like time to hang out with family, and then you have like other parts of the day where you like need to study for this exam the next day. It doesn't even have to be like an expensive planner. Like those bullet journals that people have on Instagram, like they're very pretty and like definitely super cute, but it's not practical in my opinion, because it's just a lot of effort to maintain those planners. So like the planner I got is like very simple, and it has like your months, and then it'll have like the days, if you can tell. I don't know if you can see, but like it'll have days like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So like the days that I work and I have classes, having everything on paper and being able to visualize it helps me like plan out my day, saying like, oh, I have time for this on this day, I have time to hang out with this person on this day, or I have time to fit in a part-time job for this day, blah blah blah, kind of stuff like that. So definitely I would recommend getting a planner if you're the type A type of person. Most nurses are type A, so like if you're very organized, OCD kind of thing, definitely get a planner. And like, I'm not being negative against like people who bullet journal or are into those expensive planners that you decorate. It's like, if you like it, do you. Nothing against it. It's just like, I think being simple and having a small one that you can carry around in your book bag is fine. Another thing I would definitely recommend is to get yourself a clipboard. When I was in nursing school, our professor would give us stacks of paper to complete for each clinical. So like it'll have a care plan on a patient that we had that day, all our medications, how to assess them, what we did with them, like pretty much just like a bunch of stuff. I would recommend getting a clipboard to clip them all onto something hard so you can write on, because there's not a table for you to write on in every patient's room or outside of a patient's room. So having a clipboard is just easier to like have in your hand so you can write everything out, if that makes sense. And it's also more organized because now your papers are all together and they're not flying around, they're not missing or anything. And you can also, like I did, my clipboard opens, so it opens and you can tape things to the back, like important lab values that you might need to know, or assessments that you need to do on a specific patient. And there's also space for extra paper if you do need it. So like I still use it now as I'm working as a new grad in the hospital. I use it for bedside report. So like I said, you need a planner and a clipboard. And just like other basic things that you need is like scissors, a pen light, your stethoscope, just stuff like that. Like scissors can help with cutting tape, cutting medications that are really hard to open. Having a good stethoscope is key to a good assessment. You don't want a stethoscope from like Walmart where if you listen to the heart, you can barely hear the heart sounds, because what if you're missing a murmur, or what if you're missing, like you can't hear a bruit, like in underneath the vessels when they have a graft or something. So like having your basics and investing in a good stethoscope is another thing I believe you should do as a new grad or a student nurse, because those things are important in your daily care of a patient and how you assess them. One thing I did notice is that you should always have a hair tie with you. Sometimes people forget that your hair shouldn't be in your face. They shouldn't be all over the patient when you're assessing them. It shouldn't be dangling in things that it should not be touching, like blood or urine, or like when you're changing a wound, just like anything like that. It's not clean, it's not cute, and you don't want that you don't want anything in your hair like that. That's not sanitary, that's not clean kind of thing. So yeah, having a hair tie, tying it up, putting it in a bun, just any different hairstyles. I usually go to work with braids, and this is totally fine. So like whatever works, but just like get your hair out of your face. And sometimes people at work don't have their hair ties and they need it, so you'll always be there with a hair tie. I've had it like happen 3 times already. So another thing is to get a watch that is kind of waterproof, but not something that's expensive like an Apple Watch. I see people with Apple Watches and that's totally fine. I just don't feel like I would want my Apple Watch to get dirty because things happen in the hospital. There's poop, blood, urine going around, and like we have gloves, but gloves go to an extent. Your watch is like hangs under your wrist, and when we're washing our hands, we don't really wash our watch as well. So I think having a simple wash, I got this watch off Amazon, and I see people with Apple Watches and that's totally fine. I just don't know if that's for me because you're in a hospital setting where blood, poop, urine can get onto it, and other things that you don't want on it either, like that are corrosive, like chemotherapy medications and stuff like that. So having a watch that can get damaged but like you don't really care for is good, I guess. Another thing I would recommend, because like everything I've said, it's pretty much like stuff you have like that are basic, like your stethoscope, pen lights, scissors, a watch. Also get a lot of pens. Like you'll need a bunch of pens, a bunch of highlighters, and a bunch of expos because they'll go missing somehow. Like you'll put it down, it'll go missing. So having a bunch of pens and stuff is very helpful. Like just stuff them in your pockets. You'll need them for sure. But having all that stuff, it's kind of like a lot. So I bought this organizer. I don't know if you can see it. I got it off Michael's, I think. It's those craft organizers or sewing organizers that people have. And it's very small. It could fit into anyone's locker. And my lockers are those square ones I used to have in like high school. So it's doable, it fits into lockers, and it just helps keeps all your things together. Like my highlighters and pens are all here. If you can see that, all my highlighters and pens. Saline syringes, you'll definitely need those. So pretty much I stock all the basic things I need for like my patients, such as like if I need to flush a line, if I need to write on the board, medication cups, gauze, alcohol wipes, just stuff like that. I keep it all here and it's all organized. Kind of. It's kind of messy right now, but it's usually just organized. So yeah, I would definitely recommend getting this because it just keeps everything on you, so then when you're in a patient's room you can just grab that rather than running to the storage room searching for the item you need because things get moved around so much, running back to the patient's room and then doing that and then forgetting something else and then having to go back and forth. So I remember one situation where my preceptor was doing a sterile dressing and they thought they were doing one type of dressing but it was a different one. So they already had their gloves on, and then when they were about to go get gauze, I was like, oh, I have gauze in my thing, I'll just give it to you. So like I opened it onto their sterile field without like contaminating anything, and like they didn't have to go taking off their sterile gloves, throwing it away, running to the storage, coming back, like doing sterile technique again and doing all that all over again. So yeah, it's definitely very helpful. So I think having this on the computer that you use for that day is very easy because you can push that computer with that on and then you don't have to go running back and forth trying to get supplies because everything you usually need is here. There's like other styles like this one from Michael's. This was the cheapest I think that I found online. It was probably $5. But yeah, it was pretty cheap. It's big. It's bigger than the other one, but it still fits in your locker because I used this before I got that one. This one is just too big to have on my computer and it's just like not that pretty. Definitely get like a craft organizer to carry around. If you want, you don't have to. It's just my preference because I'm that type of nurse who does not like walking back and forth. I'm pretty lazy as a nurse because everyone likes going around and stuff. I'm just like, I'll just do one thing, have it here, so I don't have to go back and forth kind of person. And I think the last thing I would recommend, yeah, probably the last thing. The last thing I would recommend is definitely get shoes that are comfortable because you might think, oh, I could wear Nike shoes or I could wear this type of shoe because it's stylish but it still works. You're on your feet 12 hours a day. You're running around to patient to patient to patient the whole time. You're not sitting on the computer just charting. You're doing things. You're walking, running, blah, blah, blah. All this other stuff. So it's very hard on your feet. I remember the first week of orientation. Sorry, my camera cut. But I remember the first week when I was on my floor, my feet wanted to die. The next day, all I did was sleep because my feet hurt so much. Like, people don't understand how hard it is on yourself to like be standing for that long amounts of time. So yeah, I would definitely recommend getting shoes that are comfortable. There's shoes called clogs. I've never had them that a lot of nurses wear. I don't want to spend $100+ on shoes like clogs, so I'd rather buy shoes that are memory foam shoes. The one I have are from Skechers, but I'm sure you can find any shoes that are memory foam or like have good reviews online and buy those, because the ones I have, they're not expensive. They were like 50 bucks I think, but they don't hurt my feet after a long day at work. So I would definitely recommend getting clogs like other people have, or memory foam shoes. Don't go out buying Adidas or Nikes that don't have support or like any cushion for your feet, because at the end of the day, it's just gonna be horrible for you and your feet are just gonna hurt. So these are just things that I have working on the floor, and you don't have to get all these things that I tell you to get. Like, these are just my preference. Comment down below if there's something that I missed that you think a nurse should have or shouldn't have. Definitely comment down below, let other people know, and then yeah. So that's the end of the video. Until next time, bye!